Why wouldn't you arrest that man? That man said, kill the white farmers, kill the white farmers. And then he danced, and he's dancing, and
I always see here crocodile tears of white people. Malema wants to kill white people. Stop being sensitive. No one is going to kill you. You think we're going to kill you because you killed our people. The killing mentality is in your head. We don't have a killing mentality. We have a mentality of justice and peace.
Harsh words for Haiti and African nations from Donald Trump, calling some of them, quote, shithole countries. The comments were made in the White House Thursday during talks over a new bipartisan immigration deal to protect so-called dreamer immigrants from deportation.
I love South Africa. The weather, the people. What more can you wish for? Everything is nice here. We have our troubles, but everybody else does. They just keep quiet.
Where do we, as Caribbean people, stand in all of this? Should we be throwing fists in solidarity with our African cousins? Or should we just chill in the background like, this isn't my business. I just want mangoes and peace. Let's get into it. First of all, this tension between Trump and Ramaphosa isn't new. Trump has a long track record of disrespecting Black nations as if it's a hobby. Back in 2018, he referred to Haiti and African countries, and I quote, as shithole countries. Yes, very presidential behavior. Perhaps he thought Haiti was in Wakanda. Who knows? Now look, Trump disses everybody. Mexicans, women, Muslims, Europeans, the Pope, CNN, his own staff, and probably the guy who delivers his McDonald's. So sometimes it's actually hard to tell if he's being racist or just being Trump. In fact, and here's a spicy take, maybe racism isn't even the full story. Maybe it's not about Black versus white anymore. Maybe it's really about the color green. Money, power. The real battle might just be good versus evil, not Black versus white. Because when you look closely, poor white nations get dragged too. Weak leaders, no matter their race, get mocked. So the real war might not be racial, it might be financial. But still, when it's always Black and brown nations getting the worst of it, it raises serious questions. And how has the Caribbean fared? Haitian nationals faced mass deportations? Visa denials have gone up. And let's not forget Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria. Trump threw paper towels like he was at a soca fete. The message is clear. If you're Black and from a small island or former colony, Trump rates you about as highly as he rates his barber. Not at all. Now here's where things get tricky. Some people say, we're all from Africa, let's unite. Others respond with, nah, I don't even know my cousin from next door, much less someone from Ghana. Let's be honest, the pros of linking up with Africa? We share roots. We've endured similar struggles. Big movements like reparations require unity. Imagine Caribbean students studying in Ghana and Ghanaian chefs learning to make proper jerk chicken. Now that makes sense. But there are real challenges too. Africa and the Caribbean have walked different historical paths. Some African nations are dealing with coups and corruption. Meanwhile, Caribbean politicians are just battling common sense. And, to be honest, not every African leader is Marcus Garvey. Some just want your vote, your resources, and your carnival costume. So here's the takeaway. Don't romanticize, organize. Ramaphosa was publicly disrespected but remained composed. He looked like he was holding in a clapback more powerful than a Trini auntie when you tell her you don't eat curry. He didn't lash out. He tried to preserve investment and dignity. But even then, Trump basically told him, nice try, Mandela 2.0, now sit down. That's a trap Caribbean leaders fall into often, begging global powers for help while being disrespected in return. It's like being in a toxic relationship but still borrowing money from the person who ghosted you. Here's my personal take. We don't need to choose between linking with Africa or being Caribbean first. We can do both on our terms. Trade? Yes. Reparations movements? Absolutely. Cultural link-ups? Run it. But blindly copying African political systems? That's like giving your last doubles to someone you just met. Risky, brethren. So what's the move? Do we as Caribbean people roll deeper with Africa? Or do we do like Auntie at the family function, smile nice, but keep our distance? Here's the real deal. It's not about choosing sides. It's about choosing sense. We link where it lifts us up and lock off anything that drags us down. Africa, America, China, nobody getting a free pass. So drop your flag in the comments. Tell me where you stand. Should the Caribbean build with Africa, or should we stick to mango trees, sea breeze, and minding our own blessed business? If you're feeling the vibes, like, subscribe, and share the buzz with somebody who still thinks the Caribbean is just beaches and resorts. Nah, man, we got brains, backbone, and baselines.
Another day for the history books today from Donald J. Trump. An astonishing display from him in the White House today. Donald Trump meeting with the president of South Africa and attempting to ambush and humiliate that leader inside the Oval Office. But what he did instead was embarrass and humiliate the people of the United States of America again. In his meeting with President Ramaphosa, Trump peddled unsubstantiated claims of genocide in South Africa of white South Africans, a group that ruled during apartheid in South Africa. It is a fringe conspiracy theory pushed by the likes of Elon Musk, Tucker Carlson, and David Duke, the former Grand Wizard of the KKK.
We take from many locations if we feel there's persecution or genocide going on. And we had a lot of people. I must tell you, Mr. President, we have had a tremendous number of people, especially since they've seen this. Generally, they're white farmers, and they're fleeing South Africa, and it's a very sad thing to see. But I hope we can have an explanation of that. It'll be the end of the country if it's not.
So next, Trump asked his staff to dim the lights and roll in a television. Once the lights were dimmed and the television was there, they played a video that Trump claimed showed evidence of genocide against white farmers. Here's the reality as reported by the New York Times. Quote, there have been killings of white South Africans, but police statistics show they are not killed at a higher rate than other South Africans. And while the South African government did pass a law permitting the government to take land without compensation, the process is subject to judicial review. President Ramaphosa did his part to fact-check Donald Trump in real time. He added that he didn't even recognize some of the locations in the video. Here's what he had to say.
Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
No, nobody can take land.
And then when they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No, there is
nothing happens.
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately, through criminal activity, are not only white people.
After all that, the leader of South Africa, South Africa's president, tried to lighten the mood a little bit. Trump suggested that all of this tension between them could have been avoided as South Africa had just bought him an airplane.
I'm sorry, I don't have a plane to give you.
I wish you did. I'd take it. I would take it. If your country offered the United States Air Force a plane, I would take it.
Okay.
Well, there you have it. Conspiracy theory peddling leader of the United States of America sitting inside a gilded Oval Office.
Staying with this story, a section of Afrikaners say they're happy to remain in South Africa. Here's Newsroom Africa's Kara Mafukwane with that story.
They came out in numbers for the 2025 edition of the Jeep Topless Day. It's an annual event for the American car manufacturer in Hartbeespoort. But what caught people's attention along Hartbeeshoek Road was the proud display of the American flag. Some of those who gathered here were Afrikaners and say those who chose to leave South Africa do not represent the views of the majority.
Everybody's got their own choice, so that's what they felt they needed to do, and by all means, I'm not here to judge anybody, so if they believe that's the best part for them, happy for them, but I think everybody's got their own choice, and everybody has to make their own decisions in life, So I don't think they speak for every South African or even every Afrikaner in South Africa. So it's just a question. Everybody needs to do what they feel best for themselves.
Although they acknowledge the country has many challenges, they say there have been strides made towards national reconciliation and inclusivity. They admit they remain committed to a united South Africa.
Having actually lived abroad myself, you need to understand that the grass is not greener. You'll go over there for a month or two, you'll enjoy it, but after a year or two, you'll realize it's not your home. It's not where you feel safe, and that's what happened with me. I lived and worked in the UK, but I never saw myself living there. South Africa was my home, and this is where I love living. And I think a lot of people who, even if they decide to go, will find that they'll miss home, and a lot of people will come back.
Organizers of the event say not even the frosty trade relationship between the US and South Africa was going to dampen their mood.
Most of us are super happy. That's why we're here. You know, we're one nation, so I think that's key. Look, there will always be ups and downs between different nations. I think that's politics. But I mean, we love the cause, and you know, we're passionate about the lifestyle, and I think that's what Jeep brings to the community that it serves.
I love South Africa. The weather, the people, what more can you wish for? Everything is nice here. Yeah, we have our troubles, but everybody else does. They just keep quiet about it. No, I'll never leave South Africa.